Hey, it's Tori, and welcome back to my channel. Today we welcome Gwen and Sean to the channel. How are you guys doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm really excited for you guys to be here. Of course, you're from the band Frayle, and you have your brand new album, Heretics and Lullabies, which is out on October 10th via Napalm Records. You already have a few singles and music videos out from this album already. How have you found that response from your previous fan base, but also from people like myself who are just now finding Frayle through this album run?
So it's been extremely positive, which is exciting for us. I mean, it started when we delivered the songs to the label. I think Napalm was really excited, and it was our first time working with them. So to hear that response from them was pretty great. Obviously we liked it, but that doesn't, it's our baby. So we
Right.
kind of like a different perspective on it. But it's been incredible, and to watch it sort of grow, because Napalm's like a much bigger platform. Especially with like their YouTube channel and stuff, which is really, that and spot and streaming is the only exposure people have to us right now. But it's been pretty incredible to watch them sort of grab onto what we're doing, and it also just, I guess, feel that our point is being listened to, right? Like,
Yeah,
our
for
intention.
sure. It's been like our past fans enjoy it, and you always, every time you make a new record, you always try and take a different path a little bit, and hopefully you evolve. And the our previous fans really, yeah, sorry, cat. Our previous fans really liked it, and then like you said, new people coming on board too, which is just amazing, and very validating as an artist that what you're doing is talking to other people as well.
And like, your reaction video is like a perfect example of that. Like you said, you're new to the band and you discovered it, and then listening to what you were saying during that video, I'm like, oh, she gets it. And so if people like you get it, then I think that we're doing our job correctly, because like you're picking up on the same stuff that we hope to put out there. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that the song Heretic that I checked out with the reaction video, and there was that one line in there about that just really made me think. And honestly, I've been thinking about it since. And I love music that really grabs you into whatever storyline or whatever background information that you have going on in there. And it's just, I just love it. I love the emotion, and I love the whole aesthetic that you have going on too. And of course, one of those singles that you released was Lana Del Rey's Summertime Sadness. Now you guys even managed to make that even more atmospheric and eerie. Like, why did you guys decide to reimagine that song in particular?
Well, I think we knew that we wanted to do a cover for this album. Anytime that we decide to do a cover, we usually pick a few songs and we kind of flesh them out and see which one speaks to us the most.
The industry term is demo.
Oh, demo. There you go. And we played with this one. Obviously, Lana is the queen of melancholy, and so we wanted to pay homage to her. But we were kind of demoing it, and Sean, we didn't really like the way the guitar sounded in the going into the song and in the first verse, and we thought, it's just not it. It sounds a little safe. So I went out and ran some errands, and Sean decided to strip everything back to just the vocals and drums and kind of start from scratch. And that's when like the single note opening came, and that's when we knew that we had something special. And then that was actually the first song that we sent to our producer, Aaron Chaparian, and he put the pause after like going into the first chorus, and it blew us away. And that was like, okay, no, this is the one.
It feels cool. And my 14-year-old daughter we're not her cup of tea. But she's a huge Florida company. So I think even she was like, oh, Dad, what you doing? So we knew we were onto something.
Yeah, I checked it out I live stream on Twitch, and I checked it out on stream yesterday just because I knew I was talking to you today, and my whole stream was like, wow, this is incredible. It's so atmospheric. And they were surprised at how you managed to make it even darker because, like you say, Lana is the queen of melancholy, but it fits with the whole vibe and aesthetic that I'm getting from your band. And I want to know what inspired the title of the album and how does that reflect the energy of the album?
So even when we were like working on the previous album, Skin and Sorrow, this idea of heresy and what does heresy really mean? Like what's heresy for one is scripture for another, right? And
Mm-hmm.
does being a strong vocal woman in a toxic patriarchy, is that heresy? Does being strong during heartbreak, is that, all these ideas kind of going through my mind, like what does it really mean? So that idea kind of stuck with me. And then the idea of lullaby, so having this kind of strong philosophical war, in your head about heresy and what does that all mean, and then wanting to soothe and make people feel better is the lullaby part, and also obviously the vocal delivery. To me, it just kind of made sense to put those two together.
Yeah.
I always think that lullabies can be pretty powerful too. Like if you remember like that movie Nightmare on Elm Street, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, 3. Like there's creepy ass lullabies out there
Mm-hmm.
that are
Mm-hmm.
so gentle in the delivery, but so menacing in the meaning, right? So I think it's fun to kind of play with that idea. So and yeah, like Gwen said, what's heresy to one is scripture to another. So it's an interesting topic to explore, and obviously we lean more towards the heresy side of everything. So
Same. Same. You mentioned like lullabies in general being quite menacing. It makes you think of the original fairy tales before, like, say, Disney got a hold of them and transformed them into something else, and they were quite dark and full of doom. And I quite like that idea of combining, like you say, this heresy is one thing for one person and then it's completely the opposite for somebody else. And going to your vocals, it completely goes together because your vocals they're very soulful, and they do feel like you're lulling us into it and pulling us into the story. And it's so wonderful to experience that as a listener.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that, if we can pull you in to, like, we try to create like a world
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
to be a part of, and if we can invite you into the world, that we live in, then I think it's our job as artists has been fulfilled.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally our world. Like this is our dining room.
Yeah, I was just wondering what they were behind you.
Yeah, and my daughter's like, great, we're in a cult now. Cool.
No, those are awesome. I love when people put their own personality into their homes. I'm in like our smallest bedroom, and I have like 6 bookshelves full. We call them our nerd shelves, like of what we enjoy. And we've got 3 cats, so they're not allowed in here because obviously they'd break stuff. But we've got all of our band posters, and this is like our little den, if you will. And it's funny you pulled the camera up because it's like, what are those behind you? And then you showed it. Like it's like you were in my head for a moment.
Yeah, there are actually 2 of these. The first bass player in Frayle his name's Frank Cavanaugh. He played bass in Filter. And he gave us, when we got married, he gave us his and hers sickles.
That's cool. They're really
Sides, sorry.
awesome. I
Sides.
love that. I love them. Could you tell us in your own words what the album is about and what it represents for you personally?
So music for me is always like, it's always been like medicine. Like
Hmm.
was pretty sad and felt lonely growing up. Gwen and I both come from small towns, and there weren't a lot of other people that were like us growing up, especially like pre-Instagram.
Hmm.
It's hard to meet like-minded people back then, and you feel pretty alone. So music was like the way that I felt could feel the best about myself, and it still is, I think, right? Like uh, express, and then like learning how to play guitar, and then understanding like that I don't really want to play other people's songs on guitar. I just want to make sounds that like feel like stuff's coming out.
Yeah.
And then getting into bands, and you can do that live. It's always been like a release for me. So musically on this record, I'm just always striving to, we have the luxury of having a studio on our third floor, so that's where all the guitars and vocals happen. So sitting up there and just trying to find layers of sounds or vibes, more vibes than riffs. Like that's kind of like what we've been into lately, is not so much about like melody and riffs. It's more about just vibes, and like trying to come up with these vibes that sound like new, scary, liberating, freeing, all these things for me. Like that's what I'm always trying to put in there. So I think with this record, it's just sort of a bigger step forward than we have made in the past, on that front. Like okay, I'm becoming more competent as a musician, not so much as like playing notes, but as like putting sounds together in a way that like we can then come together and emote, I guess, if in an authentic way, if that makes sense. Like so it's always just
Yeah.
like a journey of like getting your heart on the canvas for me musically. And then when Gwen's side of it, when she comes in, I think she's kind of doing more of the same, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just all about emoting and working through stuff, and it's like therapy for me, and I think for Sean as well. You're able to just transfer all of these emotions onto paper or through your guitar or whatever it is, and work through things that way.
And in a way that's just for us. Like our studio is kind of like our blank canvas, like where we don't think about what's happening in the world musically, like
Hmm.
what anybody's telling us we should do or this or that or what worked in the past or whatever. It's kind of like we know how we feel about it. Like if there's something in a song that we were stoked on, maybe we'll try to explore something similar again, or something we didn't like, well then okay, go on opposite direction. But it really is just the two of us trying to make each other stoked. That's when I think Frayle is at its best, is when we get out of each other's way, because like I do the guitar stuff, she does her vocal stuff, and then the two meet. And sometimes we have opinions on each other's stuff, but we don't really get in each other's way. And that's really what has led to a lot of more success with Frayle, is when the more we get out of each other's way, the better it does. So we just do that more. And yeah, so I guess like I don't know if that's what it means, but I think that's just what we're doing more of on this record.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I've always said I love when like musicians like yourself, you said you with the guitar, and it just becomes part of you and you're able to put your emotions out through that. I always say this in my reactions, it's one thing to pick up a guitar and play it. It's another thing to then have that instrument become a part of who you are and then be able to get your emotions out through that. And I definitely feel that with both of you. Of course, when your instrument is your voice, and it's such a powerful thing, and it's I like how you mentioned your studio was your blank space, because that's perfect. I think when people tend to overthink things, it just doesn't fit and it just doesn't go right. And you need to be able to just concentrate on what you like and what influences you want to put into the band. And that's another question. Like, what kind of musical influences from your personal backgrounds do you feel has influenced your own music?
Yeah, I think influences come in a bunch of different forms. I don't think that I have ever thought like I want this melody to sound like this band or anything like that. But when I first started singing, I definitely wanted to emulate uh, Beth Gibbons,
Hmm.
from Portishead, or Alison Shaw, Cranes. Um, and then I just kind of did my own take on that. Now I think it's kind of fleshed itself out and just become what it is. But I think this album specifically, we set aside, I want this to sound like Carmen Byrne, or I want this to sound like XYZ. I think with this album, it was more just, let's just get each other pumped on what we're doing, and well, let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that sounds like. And I think that's, I guess that's the most authentic,
Hmm.
that you can possibly be, is just to do something for each other. So this is, it's this album was made by just trying to impress each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're doing more of that now too, like, you know, with the album cycle being longer than we're used to, like for on Napalm, like we have more written for the next one than we ever had written for the one that's not even out yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, because we're just, you know, going like we're pumped on how the stuff sounds, and now we know what we're capable of a little bit more. So we're trying to push that, you know, even further on, and get into stuff that like doesn't fit any genre. Like it's, you know, initially we were sort of clumped into doom and kind of made sense. Like, okay, I guess. And then now I don't know what fuck we are, but like it makes me happy. Like, cause I didn't know what the Deftones was when they came out, and like
Right.
I love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always like I've been one of those people, like I don't care what its genre some band is. Like I couldn't tell you what they are or what subgenre they fall into. If I vibe with something, then I'm gonna add it to my playlist. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. As long as I connect with it, then that's all that should matter at the end of the day. And I love that you guys don't have a genre, you're genreless, and that I think that gives you more freedom to explore what you want to put into your art too.
I think it also allows us to play with lots of different bands. You
Yeah.
know, like we started playing like desert fests and things like that in Europe. And then now we're on like, you know, Bloodstock, Summer Breeze, these things that open you up to different genres. And we've played with stoner bands, and we toured with Cradle of Filth and like all these other bands. And like it's always worked for us because we're just this thing that isn't trying to be something else. I think you kind of fail when you're trying hard to put on someone else's jacket, but it doesn't fit quite right. And then that's when people are like, oh, I don't know, they're kind of like this, but not as good. But like when you're your own thing, they're just like, I don't know what it was. It was Gwyn. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're into.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a couple of bands. I could totally see you guys touring with like Wardruna or Highling if you've heard of those guys. I think
That would
your
be
vibe
rad.
would really fit with them.
Yeah. I mean, Chelsea Wolf's out with Wardruna.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, she's touring with Wardruna right now.
Yeah, that would be sick. You know, I think any band, like we'd love to go out with Wardruna, Behemoth. I'd love to fucking tour with Health. Like those are all completely different bands, but I think we'd fit with like all of them. And we have when does this come out, do you know?
Probably like a week before the album.
Okay. So we're announcing a tour today with this band Dogma that we played with at Bloodstock. We didn't know we were touring with them, and we just happened to be playing right next to them at Bloodstock.
Oh, nice.
Stage, but we announced that today in the US, and so that's another completely different, like those are nuns that shred, you know, like we're just enjoying like playing with all these different bands, and like it makes the shows a lot more fun too, right? Like it's you know, the shows are, the crowds are so diverse, but so are we.
Yeah, and that's what I love. I love seeing a diverse show like that where you've got different elements and different sounds and different emotions that come into it, and it just makes it more fun, I think. Because then I think sometimes when you've got similar bands on the same set and there's like 4 or 5 the same kind of band, by the end of the night you're kind of like, okay, I'm ready to go home. But when it's something where you've got 2 or 3 bands and they've got completely different vibes and sounds, you're like, okay, I'm excited. What's going to come next? What, you know, it keeps you on your toes, I think.
Yeah, like if it's the same genres, you're like, who stonered the most?
Right, exactly. Speaking of that, I remember there was one band we went to see, and they came on stage and all you could smell was like marijuana, and then they left and that it kind of dissipated. I was like, you know.
They stonered the most.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They did. You've mentioned the creative process a little bit, but could you delve more into that when it comes to songwriting and composing of the songs?
Yeah, so the way that it generally works is Sean's up there writing stuff like pretty much every day. He has a library of hundreds and hundreds of riffs slash vibes.
Sketches.
And so when we decide, okay, it's time to kind of put things together and you know, figure out what we want to flesh out a little bit more, we'll go up there and we'll listen to them, and then we'll make a separate file with those.
Hard stop. It's not that easy because she cannot stand my filing system. So So don't forget about the lecture about organization that happens during this process. Continue.
Yeah, I need lists, I need organization, and he's just kind of,
Yeah, just everywhere. Yeah.
So, when we organize it and figure out which ones we want to decide, then I'll put vocal sketches on top of the things that he's created, and then we'll narrow it down further from that. Once we decide which ones that we want to demo, then we'll decide arrangement, and then that's when the lyrics come in. So I too have a library of hundreds and hundreds of like lyric notes, just words even, or turns of phrases that I really felt or really inspired me at a time, and then we'll create that, and then it'll be a song, and then we'll just kind of go through and decide which ones that we think should go on the album. Anything to add there? Oof. Emotions.
I was thinking about something else.
Okay. ADHD. ADHD.
My husband's the same way, so I get it.
He sounds like an awesome guy.
I mean, he is, but I'm biased, so. What are some like no, I've already asked that, sorry. What is the overall message of like emotion or just a general message that you hope listeners will take away from this album?
So I think with all of our work, our overwhelming message is one of acceptance and you belong. With this album, I think I want to take you on a journey that it's okay to feel all of these emotions, and I want you to sit in them for a minute, and I want you to feel them. But with every song, even though I try to, go to the bottom of whatever I'm feeling, I want you to know that there's hope. So every song, even though it can be dark, there's always hope, and I think that that's the message that I want to get across, is that tomorrow will be a brighter day. As dark as tonight gets, tomorrow will be brighter, I promise. We just have to work through it.
Yeah, I think when Gwen takes on the role of a villain, which she does in some of the songs on this record, she's not doing it to be like badass bitch. She's doing it to like empower someone else to take that perspective on like their problems or something they're facing. At least that's what I take away from it.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a cool way to look at your problems. Like when if you have anxiety or whatever, and you sort of like if you name it Jerry, then it's easier for you to like handle Jerry or something like that. So I think when she becomes like the villain, and you personalize in a way like something you're trying to overcome, I think it makes it a more it gives you a different perspective and maybe helps you get over it. So I think that's what is going on. Like the song Demons, for example, like she's basically saying that she has all these demons in her head, but the demons don't know that she's actually a fucking monster, is going to kick their ass. And I think that's a really cool way of like overcoming something that you're struggling with, is like being more powerful than it, and like telling yourself that you are. So people might think when she says that she's a fucking monster, she's just trying to be a badass, but really she's trying to empower someone to overcome some kind of mental issue that they're facing. And I think that's fucking great, because I think dark lyrics that have a meaning like that are so much more powerful and meaningful than just talking about dragons and swords for the fuck of it. Because what is that going to do? Like,
right?
Helping me. I need help.
No, I understand where you're coming from, and I think that's what connected me when I listened to Heretic for the first time, because I mean, you do look like a badass, and your aesthetic is awesome, but I also get that meaning of transforming into this character and then becoming that thing for somebody else, and then they're able to connect that. And that's why music for me is also so important, because like you said, it's like it's magic. It's so magical, and there's so many feelings and thoughts that help you push through everyday shit, and because life is hard and life can kick you in the balls so many times, and music is one of those things for me that it really pulls me up, and it does that little flicker of light of hope that it pulls into that darkness is just what somebody needs, and I love how you describe that, and I think it's a wonderful message that you guys are portraying with this album.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's, I think my raison d'etre for, being here is to help. I think that's anybody's, we're here to help and to connect. So if I can help someone put words to what they're feeling, then I am a happy person.
Yeah, music, I think about this all the time, how powerful music is. Like, of the arts, you got painting and things that decorate spaces, and there's more to it than just decorating, but like music decorates time.
Yeah.
And it's fucking bananas that a song can change the way that you see a room or change the way that you feel if you close your eyes. Like, and poetry and writing can do that too, but music has like extra bits. Like, it has the special effects that dig into your soul. It has more ways to dig in than just words alone. And so it's so fucking powerful. And for me, much more powerful than any kind of like drinking or drugs or reading or anything that I do is it's music. And it's insane. It's truly, I think, magic.
Yeah, it's the same for me too. I don't have any musical talent, but I'm a huge consumer of it. And my husband will tell you, if I'm home and I'm doing tasks on the computer or I'm doing chores around the house, making dinner, whatever, I always have headphones on because I always have to have music, even when I'm getting ready, or just I don't like silence. I hate silence. I need music, and all kinds of different music, and sometimes I have to like pull my headset to the side so I can hear what he's saying to me, but it's just
not the worst when they ruin your vibe.
Right? And you're like, what? You're interrupting a great part of this song right now. Like, can you not? Yeah. Can you not wait a moment? No. He's great. He never really interrupts too much, but I love that feeling, and for myself specifically, because I don't know if you've ever heard of aphantasia. It's where you don't have like a mind's eye, you don't have like an imagination. So it covers that darkness for me, because I can't, like, when I close my eyes, all I see is black. I don't have like
Really?
it doesn't there's like different levels of it, and people of course have it where they can literally see a movie in their brain if they listen to music or read something, or there's the complete other end where it's just complete black darkness, and that's me. And that's why music, even as a child, my parents, my mom especially, said the only thing that would keep me quiet, keep me grounded for a long period of time was like Disney's Fantasia, because it had both the animation and the classical music, and I would sit there for hours and rewind that and rewatch it again, and that's where I guess where my love of music started.
That's fascinating.
Amazing. Yeah,
that's fascinating. So, I mean, not to go off topic, but like, so at nighttime, do you have a hard time going to sleep because there's like just black in there, or do you just shut down right away?
No, I guess I just shut down right away, or like
Oh
my
my God.
inner monologue kind of like makes up stories, like I'm talking to myself, like verbalizing what's been going on in the day or whatever I'm thinking about. But my husband's like, I don't know how you fall asleep so quickly. I'm like, because there's I'm not thinking about, like, I'm thinking in my inner voice, but there's no images, there's nothing too distracting in there, so I just completely I fall asleep. I don't ever remember my dreams, because I don't know if I probably do dream, but I don't have that mind's eye to make them up, and when I do remember that I've had a dream, it's more so like verbiage, like monologue, rather than images. So yeah,
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Also very jealous that you're
Yeah,
able to fall asleep.
That's why my first question was sleep. I was like, what's that like? Because we're always like,
well, so's my husband. He even has to wear little earbuds at nighttime for like extra white noise, because his mind is just constantly going and going and going. Same with my sister. We joke that she took all my creativeness after I was born, because she's on the other end of the spectrum with it. She's very artistic. She's an artist herself. She paints and does digital art, and she did all the art for my channel. And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I took all your creativeness. I'm like, nah, it's good. I don't know any different.
But I would imagine though that that would make music even that much more powerful. You know,
Yeah.
like for me or us, I don't know. For me to listen to a song, it's like other shit's jumping in there, ruining my fucking vibe, and like that would be insane to just like have that
Yeah.
front center. Like that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, that's why it's so important. And that's another reason I did start my channel, is because sometimes we do tend to box ourselves in a little bit in what we do listen to. And I was like, I need to, there's so much out there. And then I discovered YouTube reactions. At first I was like, what is this? And then I got into it, and now I really enjoy it. And I've like built such an amazing community of like-minded people. I get to talk to people like yourselves about your art. And because I don't have that, it's just fascinating for me to pick your brains and see how they work too.
Maybe that's what was so like we remembered your reaction video. We've actually been talking about it, you know, like not all day, every day, but like we bring it up and we're like, you know, I was just your perspective was it just was very authentic and it had a lot of depth to it and complex. And I maybe that's what we were picking up on is because it does take such a front and center stage. So what you're analyzing, there's a
It's
lot
not
of
colored by.
yeah, there's a lot of depth there, and I think that that's fascinating. So that's super interesting to me.
Well, okay, I'm glad you liked it anyway. But yeah, my
Even if you would have
reaction.
said bad things, it still would have been good. You know?
Yeah, my reactions, because they do take a lot out of me, because obviously I do put all my emotions into it, and it's just something that I love to do, and finding bands like yourselves and being able to connect that way through your music, and then being able to sit here and talk to you. I never thought I would be sat here interviewing members of incredible bands like this, but here we are.
So, you know, it is artistic expression what you're
I was
doing
gonna say,
when you're
it's all very
interpreting,
creative.
yeah, these videos. That's pretty authentically creative and in a way that translates to people that all they do is think about fucking creating stuff. So I think that you are actually being very creative. So
Well,
maybe
thank
just
you.
here to take it all.
Talking about being creative, how are you going to translate the aesthetic that you've brought to your music videos to your live stage shows?
Just like this.
Yeah,
He's
with the kitty.
Yeah.
Mine's sat outside meowing right now. She wants to come in, but she'll have to wait.
We have 3 circling light sharks. So live shows. So Gwen obviously has been doing like the Gwen thing for ever since Frayle started, right? Like that's been a big part of the band. And then like it's just taken a while for the other part of the band to catch up
Hmm.
because he's always been, you know, hard rock, Midwest, no frills kind of approach to music. And because it's such a pure release, I didn't want anything. I felt like dressing it up gets in the way of the release. But after, you know, watching Gwen do what she does and her perspective on it, it's almost like liberating in a way. So you get to I get to focus, I get a different perspective on that release and focus on different parts of it because I don't have to worry so much about what's going on here. I'm not
Hmm.
so nervous being in front of a camera now because there's like a distance
Right.
between like because we wear masks now and like where the band members are dressed, you know, similarly and it makes the shows a lot more fun. So, you know, there's that side of it. There's always working on, you know, and investing in the stuff that goes into the set live. So like the you know we do play to backing, but trying to get that perfect so it just the right amount of atmosphere that also highlights a real band playing because that's very important to us to have like as much authentic playing and aggression translated through the music. Um, and then now we're starting to get into as we grow, like we have a new trailer that I'm very excited about that I spent a lot of time assembling. And we're getting like props for stage now, like for the North American shows, because we can't, you know, bring it here because we don't have enough money to like have 2 separate rigs
Yeah.
yet. But in the US, we're starting to get props and thinking about like how can we dress it up. We did have some lighting in the past, but we are like I don't have the bandwidth to handle how to set lights up too, so I think we're kind of like holding off on that. But I would love to get to the point where we have like a lighting director and things happening that just bring that world more to the stage. But so we're
Hmm.
doing the most of what we can right now. But I feel like it's pretty authentic, like right now. You
For
know?
sure. And with a live, you know, with a live show, it's important for me to be able to connect with people that are there. And so I really focus on, individuals in the crowd, and sometimes it's a nice exchange of energy. Sometimes people don't want to, and I mean, that's fine, right? I'm not going to force.
It's a little
You
off-putting
must
when
you must sing
Frayle
along.
stares
You
at
got to do it.
Yeah.
if Gwen looks at you and does one of these, like it's a little intimidating.
But yeah, so for me, it becomes like more of like a ritual,
Yeah.
and it's definitely an exchange of energy, and each time it's a little bit different, and everybody has a little bit different energy to give and accept. So it's different every time, but it's always very rewarding.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell what people are coming there for, right? Like, are they coming there for the words and the vibe, and they're just like lost in Gwen, or are they there for more the aggressive side, and they're kind of like, over the side, like rocking out to the band. So it's interesting because there's a variety of reasons that people come to shows, and you can kind of pick up on that. Like, especially the smaller ones, you can pick up on like what people are into.
Sure. It's interesting.
Or there's people like me who get lost in both and are like, their bodies are like swaying, they're like closing your eyes, they're like head banging. I'm like, just pick one, concentrate on one.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
all of it.
We do find that in Europe, like people are more free. Like at small shows, they're not afraid to get up and just start like one person in the zone by themselves. Where in the US, I think people are a little more like, what's he doing? What's she doing? Like they won't like let themselves go as much. And like that was new for us when we started touring Europe a lot, and seeing just like that dude over there losing his mind and that girl over there in completely different ways, losing their mind, and no one else is like teasing them or whatever. They're just all like,
right.
The show is a release, and it's crazy
Great.
in Europe how it's a little bit more of a release, I think, than in the US. Unless in the US people circle pit and shit like that, but like we're more into like making people sway and like hold those ones. Every once in a while get a little like into it, but like a lot of love.
No, I've noticed that too, especially because I'm from England myself, but I've been living in the US for quite a while now, and just the differences of how people handle going to a show. And some people, of course, there are people who just like to stand there and just, they just stand there and maybe nod their head a little bit. Then you've got others who just let themselves go completely free, and I do wish I was a bit more free sometimes that way, because I look at people and they don't care what people think around them. They're just there purely because they enjoy that band, they enjoy the music, and they're there for themselves, and they're there to remember that night, and they just completely let themselves free. And I'm quite introverted as a person, so it shows. I'm more like in my own little space bubble, and I try not to like, bump into anybody or like do anything. And then my husband's behind me. He's like the headbanger. He doesn't care. He'll rock out to whatever. And I'm just like, I listen. I close my eyes. Sometimes I'll get teary eyed. It's just all in how the atmosphere, this perfect word, how that makes you feel in that moment, and the energy surging through not only the crowd but also from you guys up on stage.
I thought you were in Europe. Where do you live?
I'm in North Carolina.
We're playing. Where are we playing? We're coming up the East Coast. Atlanta is the farthest we come up, though.
Okay.
On
It's
this
about
next tour.
5 hours from us, so I might be able to make it out. But we're driving 5 hours on Thursday, so.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned to our social.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep up with that. We're talking about shows. You've got a festival the day after the album release, which is Tennessee Metal Devastation Festival. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, we're super pumped. So it's a festival, but it's we were talking to the fellow who puts it on, and like the people are right up to the stage, and it's got like that kind of that hometown, but also it's a festival. Like it kind of excited to experience that and what that's all going to be like.
Yeah, and it's in a area of Tennessee that like they don't have they have to drive far to go see shows, right? So this is like they finally get something in their hometown, so they'll just come and rage. And so we're kind of like excited to like it's a cross between like festival, hometown, and even maybe small show, because it's so intimate, but in a festival setting. So we're pretty excited about that. And then the Dogma shows, we start in Anaheim, like basically, LA area, and work our way across the southern coast spend a lot of time in Texas, Florida, and then come up through Georgia. So that's going to be exciting too. one, because the record will be out by the time these shows we're playing, and maiden voyage of the trailer. Pretty excited about
So
that.
this trailer,
What guys do, right?
it's
It's my shed.
Right?
like it's out there all the time.
And I tell her, I'm like, babe, look how your wardrobe case
Look at that.
will be secured to the wall here. And I built her a little dressing room in there.
Yeah. My husband's that way about like sci-fi stuff. He's like, look at this, or like on his computer, he's like, look at this, and I'm just like, great, just like positive encouragement, and then let them carry on.
But don't spend that much money.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. Do you have any last words of thanks or anything like that for people watching this interview?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thank you so much for everybody who's listened to any of our music, who likes or comments on or shares any of our social media. I mean, all of that stuff, helps us more than you can possibly imagine. So thank you so much for that. We're excited to bring you the new album. I hope you guys like it. It's a labor of love for you guys. So thank you so much for everything. And Tori, thank you for having us on. It means so much for bands like us to get some exposure on your fabulous channel.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, it grabbed us. There's lots of reaction videos in the world, and yours definitely grabbed us in a way that felt authentic. So I'd say keep doing what you're doing. And like Gwen said, to support bands now, it's not easy being in a band, right? There's no, even on a bigger label, there's no system that's like holding you up like the old days, because there's no, it's like, imagine doing a job and not getting paid for that job. You only get paid if you sell the t-shirt talking about you doing a job. Like that's basically what music is now. So supporting bands is like really important. So if you're into something, try to go out of the way. A patch, $5, that like it really helps a lot. So anything you can do, to support the band, or even just on social, sharing, commenting, that kind of thing, because the algorithm, feed the algorithm. But it's all anything you can do to support the music you're into is so important to bands, and so appreciated. Yeah, and we hope to see you personally at a show someday.
I hope so. I hope I can make it out to the Atlanta show. I definitely have to keep an eye on. You said when are the dates released today?
Atlanta, yeah, they'll release today. So I feel like Atlanta's November 8th, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, let us know, and we'll make sure we.
Yeah, if you're coming, hit us up.
Yeah,
I will. I'll have to. We've got like a senior dog she's 13. We just found out she's a little sick, so we've had a few vet bills, so I might be able to make it work. But I would definitely love to come and see you, because your vibe is just something that I would like to see live. It's one thing to sit here and listen to it in the studio, but then it's another to actually be there and just like the atmosphere again. But thank you so much for taking your time out to chat with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Again, Frayle's new album, Heretics and Lullabies, will be out on October 10th via Napalm Records. I will leave the pre-order link and all of the band's information down below in the description, so you can go ahead and support them and order that album. And thank you. It's been really wonderful.
Well, thank you again. We really, truly, fully appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I'd just like to take a moment to thank all of my incredible Patreons. You can find all of my full album reactions over there. You can find the link for that right here or down below in the description. But don't forget to like and subscribe to become a Taurian. Speaking of becoming a Taurian, all of my social media links and my Discord link are down below in the description. We'd absolutely love to have you come hang out in the Discord community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Rock on.